is going on, everybody?
Hey,
Oh,
someone's got to say hello.
Yep. Patty
Hello.
Boy starting it off. Member for 3 months. Another Tuesday, another vodka cran. Let's go. He's been hanging out with Poda Power.
And
Yeah.
he was on. He was doing something last night with the To and James show.
Oh, I'm talking the vodka cranberry. That's
Oh.
Vaughn's
Oh.
drink of choice.
Oh.
Yep.
And usually Grey Goose and cranberry. And Tortoise kicking it off. 5 gifted right off the rip. Thank you, brother.
Is Matt Hurry here?
Hurry.
Hey, Matt, what's
Is
going on?
he
Long
here?
time no see.
Holy crap! I
Yeah.
hope he's doing well. And Reed's
James.
here.
A lot
Oh.
of new names. A lot of names that skipped a few Tuesdays. Somebody invited their friends.
Well, and Matt, oh, he's a channel member because of the gifted. Okay. It's like, ha, yep, he's here. Now he's green and unstoppable.
Look at this. Hey,
There
Matt,
you go.
seriously, we hope everything is going well, man. We miss you. We miss you, dude. And every once in a while, when your ears are burning, yeah, that's us talking about you. All
Mhm.
good, of course.
Always, always. So, what's been going on, guys?
Sitting here like this. What about you?
I just got home from Robotics. We
Again.
again. Well,
Pilates.
we head to competition Thursday afternoon. So,
So let me tell you something.
oh,
Because you presented this stuff Saturday or Sunday at work during the afternoon, I go to the YouTube. And of
It's in your
course,
algorithm.
I don't have your group saved. I need to get that.
Mhm.
But there was a whole bunch of robotic stuff going on, I believe, on Saturday
There was.
in North Carolina and South Carolina. I
No,
believe.
South Carolina was off this week.
Okay.
We had the entire state had week 3 off, but we were week 1, week 2, and week 4 are for the qualifiers, and then week 6 is state.
Okay. Well, we were watching a YouTube channel with 8 maybe qualifiers
Mhm.
going at it. And of course, the people who I'm working with were like, "Oh my god, that's crazy! That's awesome!" And
Oh,
you know,
so
Tell them to give you $5. Pay-per-view.
Mike, have you seen this stuff? You guys
The robotics?
Yeah, are you guys doing this stuff in New York?
No, disassemble. Who remembers Short Circuit?
Yes.
That's a classic movie. Johnny Five,
Yeah.
baby.
That is a
Um,
classic movie.
Yeah, no. I'm going to be at our state capitol, like participating in a Steam Day thing in May that I've done the last couple of years, and there's a lot of robotics clubs that do that. My son does an esports thing at school. My oldest W2BMK, and he drives the robot some of the times and
Nice.
stuff. So yeah, it's a neat hobby. I don't think he's using what he's learned from amateur radio in it, but there's certainly some crossover, a lot of nerdy stuff. It's all good though.
There was a group that showed up to Huntsville one year, and they actually had their robot programmed with DTMF tones,
Oh, cool.
and they were doing kind of the same thing. One of the options that we have when it comes to the bigger like Worlds, which is in Houston, and if we qualify, yeah, I'll be going to Texas. I don't think we're going to qualify. We're not at that level, but we can actually, through this website, webcast multiple different matches at once.
Wow.
And unfortunately, this site does not work from my office because it's Twitch based, and Twitch is blocked because of gaming, which sucks.
Right.
But if I can find the YouTube links, I can just have multiple YouTube windows open. So that is an option.
Hey, man, we got a lot of cool people in the chat here tonight.
Oh yeah, I see Toby in there.
Yeah, I'm trying
Patty
to catch
Boy.
up.
Bogey, Ed, we said Tortoise, we said the other
Yep.
TO, the 45.
I saw Mo in
Brian.
there earlier.
Yeah, Brian's always here. The Broke Ham, haven't seen him in a while.
Bill's
Rabbit
in there.
Ham,
Ed.
Rabbit Ham, the new guy. Hey, new guy, get a hold of me. New guy. He's not new, is he? I don't think. But get a hold. I had fun with that guy. What, Mike? What was it? Friday night?
Yeah, when we did the happy hour.
Yeah,
Yeah,
man.
okay.
He's a cool guy. I want to get him
Yep.
on here. Get him on here.
Yeah, absolutely.
Someone
Randy. Randy can
said,
make it, but Shane can't. So
there's Mo. Somebody said the chat's not moving. It's moving for me, but just because it's me doesn't mean it's me, or just because it's.
yeah, mine's working fine.
Yep, but
Yeah, it's working.
I have to say, sometimes, like if I'm in the living room watching people's videos, the chat stops. Well, heck, sometimes it stops for me. Even out here on Tuesday nights. But all I know to do is tell you to reload.
WG5X Radio, member for 27 months. Thank you, my friend.
Unless they're on the vertical stream, then there's usually not as much traffic in that chat room.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, I thought, and maybe this is wrong for me to be thinking, that whether you're vertical or horizontal, it doesn't make a difference. The chats are going to roll in exactly the same.
Both chats come to our StreamYard, but they're separate in YouTube. And because it's a StreamYard feature, not a YouTube feature.
Yeah, Greg went to the vertical stream.
Yeah.
And
So-
that's why chat wasn't moving. Okay. We'll see if he comes back on the regular one. It's amazing how many views that vertical stream gets.
Does
Bill's
it? I was just
here.
going to ask. I was
Yeah.
curious.
Well,
That's what
I
they
was not
film
going
out
to.
center.
I was not going to do anything with it, and Shane's like, "No, you got to do. You got to push them out
Yep.
both." I'm like,
Yeah.
"Why? We were just complaining that the horizontal's better." But then I guess he looked at the numbers and said, "Hey, dude."
You're always looking at the numbers.
Yeah,
I
he's
think-
always no.
The
I
very,
think
the
it's the
very
rewatch.
first, the very first vertical, like the day after, was over 1,000 views on. Like, almost like shorts numbers, right? Yes.
Right.
It was weird. I said it was bots because the next week it was like 200. I'm like, all right, let's drop it. No.
Mhm. Yeah.
So I have been instructed. Create the stream in both and let people choose, and
Let people choose. Yep.
it is what it is.
Yeah, Greg, so
we were just talking about that.
at the very end of the title of the video, if there's a little phone emoji, it's little bitty, it's like smaller than the letters, but it's a phone emoji, just like it's on your phone. That indicates it's going to be the vertical stream. If you don't see an emoji at the end, then it's the horizontal. Welcome.
Now tell them what to do if they want to go from vertical to horizontal.
Kind of
Stand
just
up.
explain that, right?
Lay down.
No, you go into our channel. You can go into our channel and you can choose which one you want to be on.
Okay.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
The announcement page on the Discord. Link in the description.
Andy Cowley.
Maybe the link to the Discord is in the description.
Even if you go
It
into
should
you go into our YouTube channel, you can pick which one you want to watch on.
Yeah.
Which is what I did tonight. I just did it. I just did it right now.
So, yeah, I guess we're gonna have to update the default description.
Why was
it's
it
not
default?
in there again.
There's no links in it this time,
Oh,
other
my
than
God,
our
someone's
channel
gonna-
links.
Is someone going to have a rant?
Oh, I'm sure there'll be a rant in the chat, but
Well,
we'll fix it later, guys.
who are we missing, or what is missing? If you
The Discord link.
Oh.
And
is that
all
a problem?
all the extra stuff that Shane
Oh.
likes to put in there.
Well then,
If he'd show up, he could do it. And
well,
be
wait
all
a
right.
minute. But is that something that I got to do when I do a setup? Do I just got to grab
No.
an
We'll-
older show,
we'll-
copy and paste?
Now we can set up all the default stuff because, like, the big guys don't type in all those links every time.
I didn't think so. So all right, this
Yeah,
is
it's
what
in
I'm
your
asking.
default.
Right. All right. If you're going to do a default,
Mhm.
I can't find the default.
It'll
that-
auto do it.
Okay, but here's what I need you to do.
Mhm.
Do you love Joe Brett?
Of course I do.
Oh,
All right,
yeah.
this is why. All right, then this is what I want you to do.
You don't
Except when
know.
he tries the finger.
Under the YouTube, you got to go into the studio content settings and you got to monetize it. Why can't that be yes all the time? I cannot find.
Yeah. That
Because they want
should
you
be
to
yes.
forget about it so that they get to keep the whole 25
They-
cents.
Yeah.
Is that what it boils down to?
Yes.
pretty
They're
much.
running a business. Why would you automatically default payment to
Okay.
somebody else?
Here's the thing. That's like me ordering a soda and not getting a straw. Because they could say he could take the lid off and he could drink it out of the. And
Hardly
we're not
ever get a
gonna
straw.
we're not gonna give him a straw unless he asks for it because straws cost money. That's not a rant. That is. Am I
And
right?
it's going to
or
be one of
wrong?
them paper straws, not the good
Right.
plastic
I was
ones.
going to say, I'll side with you on that, except for down here, if you ask for a straw, they'll give you one of those stupid paper ones.
Yeah.
That's
Oh
certain.
my gosh.
And I'm just like, no.
When I go to
better
the
yet-
Dunkin' Donuts, go ahead. Better get what?
Better yet, you're in the car with somebody. You order, like, okay, I go to Sonic a lot. You guys know that. A Route 44. And they only order a large. You know the straws are different lengths?
Mm-hmm.
And then they take the big straw. I will push somebody at the damn car. And no, I'm not talking about the missus over there.
So when we're driving down
she gets a
95, if we think what we see is roadkill, but it's not roadkill, it's somebody who you pushed out a day ago, we know that
No.
was you.
No, I would never do that.
Okay, you would never do that, but just hypothetically say. But
Hypothetically.
but you are right, because when I go to the Dunkin' Donuts and I get my refresher, I've been on this dragon fruit with green tea, and I would have lost a bet too of why I would like green tea, but I like it in this mix. And sometimes I go more green tea, but I always get a large. And I remember one day they only had the smaller straws.
Oh,
I went back to the counter and I said, "Tell you what, you're missing some. Give me a whole bunch. I'll restock it for you." I said, I used to stock grocery shelves. I know what to do. So I cleaned up everything. But yes, there are two different straws. Small and mediums get one
Wait a minute.
size.
Don't leave
What?
us hanging. Did they give you the straws after you cleaned up?
Well, they were looking at me like I was strange, and I'm not being. I thought I was being a courteous customer. I
Did
wasn't
they
asking
give you
for
the
a
straws? Did you restock the straws?
Yes,
Or
I
did-
did.
Okay. I
But
just
they
needed
looked
that
at me-
ending.
But they looked at me, Joe, like I was strange. Like, you mean to tell me I'm the only person who would have ever asked that question in your franchise?
Yes.
No, you tell that, Mike. Mike, you handle him tonight.
The barbecue potato chips thing's getting played out. Like
Hey,
they got to
hey.
come up with some better ways to rag
Yeah.
on you,
And-
man.
Right, and antagonize me.
Yeah.
So we need a box of mystery goods, mystery snacks for Izzo to try on stream to
Yeah.
find a new one that makes him and
worse than the barbecue potato chips. Yeah.
No, guys, please do not send me anymore. Do not send me
No.
barbecue
No, don't
Because-
send us barbecue ones.
because they go to work. Now, listen, a shout out to the raw boys at work. Okay, I love my brothers and sisters at work, but they don't need no barbecue potato chips. Let's give it to the homeless. Give it to the Meals on Wheels, to the elderly. Do something with your money that's more USA patriotic. How does that sound?
I was gonna say, just go to my kid's wish list and send them something off of that. Instead of
Jody's
sending-
asking me about Cheez-Its. I love Cheez-Its. Oh my God, I can,
Mhm.
but none of that double cheddar, just regular.
the regular ones. Yes.
Regular. I don't need the white. I don't need the bigger one.
Oh, ham till it hurts. That's cruel, my friend.
What would he
I'd eat
say?
it, but
wasabi.
wasabi ice cream incoming.
Pistachio ice cream.
All right,
No,
now
wasabi.
Wait, wasabi's hot though, right?
Yeah, it is.
Mhm.
But doesn't that melt the ice cream?
No, it's not that kind of hot.
not that
Tipping.
kind of hot. It's
Well,
spicy.
It's like horseradish. So
It's
know.
spicy.
yeah,
I like a little horseradish though.
I do too.
Horseradish on a. Okay, I'm gonna get in trouble. No, I'm not gonna get in trouble.
Go for it.
Grinder,
trouble.
grinder, hoagie, sandwich, whatever you guys want to call it. Cold cuts on a heart. I don't care. Every once in a while, somebody will have this horseradish sauce,
Mm-hmm.
like a mayo,
Mm-hmm.
and that kicks it up. And for some reason, my palate can take it.
Okay.
Not. Don't give me no spoonful. I'm not going to suck on a spoon of. But that wasabi scares me. I think that's like a ghost pepper. I think in its own
No.
yeah.
No.
It's not like that. No, it's like a horseradish, and it's more like like Bill's got it in the chat. Clear out the sinuses. Like I love spicy mustard. There's one made up near the Thousand Islands. River Rat makes it. It's like hot as hell mustard, and like you open it up, you smell it, and like you can be all plugged up or whatever. You just take a whiff of that
Breathe for a
mustard, and
week.
it's just like
Yeah.
woof, like you're good. Yeah.
Yeah, I've got a
Hey, Bill, how you
little
doing?
Japanese place here that when I go in, the girl will be mixing up wasabi, and she'll bring me fresh.
Okay.
And she's like, usually it has to sit 3 hours before she can serve it. But mixed fresh like that, it's got a kick to it.
Listen,
I
if
bet.
they're walking around in the back like a chemist with the goggles and the special rubber gloves and the
Mhm.
and the hazmat suit, and they're holding it like with a special,
Special
beaker
bucket.
wrench.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd be a little suspicious of that shit.
Oh,
So
no. It's good stuff.
they got a mustard because I like a spicy mustard, but don't make me
Yeah.
cry. How am I
Oh.
supposed to enjoy my sandwich?
Fresh wasabi would make you cry. Yeah.
Yeah,
it's-
that I don't want that.
Sandwich?
My sandwich. I want some nice
Sandwich.
sandwich, a nice gabagool with some got to be provolone, maybe some fresh mozzarella, but very thin though. Don't overpower me with it. With a nice tomato.
Okay.
It's something like you would get in like the New York delis. I follow a couple guys on the Instagram with them, and I love how they make their sandwiches. Maybe a little virgin olive oil with what's with the Chick-fil-A sauce? Is that hot or
Chick-fil-A
soft?
No. It's kind of on the sweeter side.
Yes, it's kind of in the honey mustard family,
Yeah.
like a really mild.
Real mild honey mustard, but
It's not bad, but
Mike, what do you got up there in the Rochester area? You got a good deli up there, Italian, German deli, or what
Oh
do you
yeah.
got?
Yeah,
Good
no,
Jewish
we
deli,
have
Polish?
a good one. I like to when you were talking earlier about the sandwich. Now there's a good deli, Calabricella's. There's a good Italian. A lot of the guys from one of our nets, which is actually probably going on right now, like to go there once a month. They do like a goulash, and they'll go like for goulash on Wednesdays for lunch once a month. But like the sandwiches there, I mean, they're massive, and it's just there's a good Italian population in Rochester. I'm from Utica in central New York, where there's a massive Italian population, and it reminds me of Utica when I walk into this deli. And they actually have a lot of stuff from the Utica area, things like tomato pie and stuff like that. And they'll have like vodka sauce, like Riggy sauce for chicken Riggies and some of that stuff that's kind of a little bit more unique to the central New York area and stuff. They'll have half moon cookies.
All right, let me
that
give
goes-
you the
not
test.
the black and white, not the black and white,
Not the
cookies you
black
get
and
down
whites.
in-
Okay.
No,
You
no,
mentioned-
no.
you
Half
mentioned-
moon cookies.
you mentioned vodka sauce. Is it just me, or does anybody else get a little frustrated when you get vodka sauce or bourbon sauce or something like that, and you don't even get a buzz after you eat?
No, it's burned out. It's been cooked out.
it's been cooked
And that-
out. But
and that's about adding the cream to thicken it up too.
yeah, I was gonna
Now-
say a good bourbon sauce. I still want to taste the bourbon though.
That I could see, but vodka sauce, no.
I
So, Mike,
usually-
let me ask you.
Yeah.
In this Italian deli, does it got the salami hanging? And
Oh yeah, yeah,
there you go. But that's
yeah.
so when you walk in, your first whiff is
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. No, it's good. It's good. I if I was prepared to talk about it, I have some photos from like one of the times I was in it, like last year, because I was sending it to my. I'm like, I don't know how my wife hasn't been there. Like, and I'm not Italian. I'm Irish and German and stuff. But my wife's Irish and Italian. And I'm like, I don't know. Like, and she's from out here. I'm like, how you not been to Calabricella's? Like, I mean, this is like what I grew up with in Utica. Like, this is fantastic. I mean, it's really good food and stuff. But yeah.
Yeah, see, down here we don't
everywhere
have any
I've
good
lived.
delis or any good diners.
Well, yeah, but you don't need the diner because you got what? You have the Waffle House.
I have the Waffle House.
I wonder if the diners is a New England thing.
It is
A New York, New Jersey, New England thing. I think. But they've changed also too.
Yeah.
But I will tell you about the
couple, but
delis.
They're gone.
So the delis to me, listen, you could all serve, suppressa, mozzarella. You could have it all. Naughty could be in the back cooking. I get it.
Mm-hmm.
In my opinion, it's all about the roll. Whether it's a 6-inch or the grinder roll, it's all about the bread. Because if you don't have a good bread, that meat and everything else that's in between, it's just going to be, you know what I mean? It's, am I right? It's about the bread.
Does it have to be made
totally
in-house?
the bread. Yeah.
No, it doesn't have to be made in house. I don't care if the guy gets there at 5 o'clock in the morning. I want good bread. I want a nice, whether it's a Portuguese roll or a nice roll. I don't want to eat something that I got from the supermarket kind of a. I want something that I could sink my teeth into this thing. Yes, Vince, you're right. Whether it's 6 inches or not, it doesn't make a difference. Hey, listen, I'll take a 10 or 12 inches. I don't care.
That's what she said.
I'll take it wet or dry. I don't care. To me, it's all about that flavor.
Yeah.
That guy who said that's right.
So Lou's got it right. We need to introduce you to a meat and 3 joint.
Uncle Lou, what are you talking about now? What is this place?
So a meat and 3 is exactly.
Like I know what the hell he's talking about.
You don't know? Okay.
Not called that. I mean, I've probably.
They don't actually call them. They don't call them meat and 3s, but the best thing on their menu is the meat and 3. And you don't want to go to one that's got a printed menu. You want the handwritten menu.
It sounds like a place you gotta look over your shoulder.
This is interesting.
Oh yeah. So they have usually between 4 and 5 different meats to pick from. Fried chicken's always on the menu. And take it or leave it, whatever. But then you've got your collards, you've got your banana puddings, all homemade soul food, and you order a meat and 3 sides. And if you leave there hungry, that's on you, my friend. And yes, mac and cheese is a veggie. In the South, mac and cheese is a veggie. Absolutely.
I thought mac and cheese, like up here, it's mashed potatoes or a baked potato. I think in different parts of the country, tell me if I'm right or wrong, for the South, mac and cheese is served with your meal in a cup or on the side of the plate or whatever, right?
Yep.
And then you guys go to what? An apple crisp or something usually later? Is apple crisp a staple?
Bread pudding, banana pudding is the big thing down here.
How about
and
key
Chris,
lime pie?
thanks for the $2.79.
Thanks, Chris.
Thanks to Chris, I'd like to kind of add that to one of the show's mottos. Your weekly reset of your algorithm.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. Hike and Ham has got it right. Cobbler. A cobbler of some sort.
A cobbler.
Usually a peach.
See, here it's usually a piece of chocolate cake. Maybe a cheesecake, and even cheesecake is so diverse.
Mo nailed it.
I mean, Mo knows. Hey, Mo, remember the days of Uncle Scotty and Uncle Scotty? Steve, you met Uncle Scotty.
I met Uncle Scotty.
He made his own cheesecake, and to this day, he still brags because, like anybody else, their cheesecake is the best. And I get that. But there's so many ways, and now I'm finding out there's so many ways of making brownies. Jennifer's doing all this. These contraptions of an extra egg here, an extra pudding here. She's doing this, she's doing that, and of course, there I am at midnight. I do my normal walk the perimeter, make sure everything's locked up, nothing's out of place, no lights are on. and then goes the brownie.
Mm.
And brownies have been awesome lately. So,
Oh yeah.
so when you guys come up here, we'll make sure we get some.
I found the
But-
photos, Izzo. You want to see a couple photos? What I was talking about?
Absolutely,
Okay.
absolutely. Show us
Show
the
us out.
gobble
Share the
Show
All
the
right,
gobble.
let me see. Let's see. Share screen.
Gobble is always good.
Window. All right.
And then
All right. Is that sharing the image
Yep.
now? Okay. So
Look at that. Look at that crew.
there it is. Yeah.
that's a motley looking crew. There.
That's
this
a
is back
crew.
in October. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's official because I got the HT at lunch. Yeah,
There's
like I'm
always
gonna
one
use
guy.
it, right?
There's always 1 to 5 guys who, and I'm usually one of them too. So I'll say it. Yeah, put that radio slap down there. Absolutely.
Yeah. And so there's the goulash that I was talking about. So that's their homemade thing.
Now, some other people will give that another name.
Okay.
American chop suey is another name that I've heard for that.
Mhm.
Okay.
It's the small elbows with a meat sauce,
Mhm.
little Parmesan. So
Very good. So this is still in the deli. So again, I was saying like a lot of the Italian stuff, whether it's imported from Utica or imported from Italy, lots of sauces and good stuff.
oh wait, go back for
Okay.
because I used to be in food sales.
Yeah.
So obviously I see the Cosmo brand.
Okay.
And I see the Cento this Cento CENTO over there. I see breadcrumbs.
Mhm.
Mhm.
I'm not familiar with those sauces,
I'd
but
like
the
to
white
point out
jar.
somebody did a fine job at fronting those shelves, didn't they?
Oh yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Do you
All the
know?
labels are forward and
Do you know? I still, when I walk down a grocery aisle, if I see a label
Yep.
that's
Straighten
turned,
it up.
I
When you
got to
take
straighten
something
it.
off the shelf. Bring the next
Yes,
one forward.
I bring the next one forward, especially the top shelf. I am
used
one
to
of
be
those
that
guys.
guy. I appreciate,
Oh,
I
yeah.
used to be
Well,
that
you know
guy.
this, Joe. It's also for the old
Mhm.
lady or for the old man. That's how I look at it, and I'll bring two layers for them.
Yeah.
Especially when I see the sticker saying 3 for $2,
Yep.
I know the next person after me is going to grab 3, so I'll pull 6.
There you go.
Mhm. Yeah.
and for those
No,
of us that worked in retail, we appreciate that.
Yeah,
At
just
best.
call me anal retentive or whatever that
Oh.
freaking name.
I can't tell you how many nights I spent pulling shit forward at Walgreens.
Yeah, you still do that. Like over there on the top right hand corner, I see water, and then I see a jar or something, and that how you see a label but you don't see a label, that would bother me.
Yep.
That would bother me.
Mm-hmm.
I know, I'm weird.
Yeah.
right,
There's some of the
here we
sweet
go.
stuff.
It's got to be in the
This
right
is
order.
Cheesy Eddies. Look
Ooh.
at that. See, I like a good catchy name like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fat kid in me
Oreo.
wants to go there.
All right, so what's an Oreo half moon?
The Oreo, I mean, the half moon cookies are, they're half chocolate frosting, half like white vanilla. But the
Yeah.
black and white cookies that you get in New York, they're like a firmer cookie.
Correct.
And even like the frosting is like a dried out, like the best way to describe the difference between a half moon and the black and white is moist. Like the half moon cookie is
It's wet. Yeah, it's wet.
yeah, is wet. It's very wet. So
Don't you play that, Joe.
Yep.
You do not play that right now. I'm just warning you.
Eric,
All right,
pull out the
wait.
moon
Go
pies.
back. Wait, hang on. I got
All
to
right,
critique. Okay.
we'll save the sausage party
Okay.
for later.
So the
Joe, catch that
Italian
one.
so the Italian eclairs are very interesting
Mm-hmm.
because when you add a cannoli, some people have got to have a chocolate chip in their cannoli. I was raised without any chocolate chips in cannolis.
Oh.
To me, it was sacrilegious to put a chocolate chip in there. It seems to be a new trend. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
absolute. I say I don't care. Just enjoy your cannoli. The eclairs are sort of making a comeback now. I don't know if
Yep.
it's from Generation Z, G, or whatever it is. But Mike, do you have any traditional Italian delis? I mean, Italian bakeries in your area?
Yeah. Yeah,
All
and a couple good ones. Like one of the ones that my wife's family was real big in. They kind of went out of business not too long
right.
ago. But
right, I'm gonna test
there's a
you.
handful of them. Yeah,
All right, I'm going to test you. Have you ever had a Bougonois?
maybe I don't recognize it by name.
They
But-
come in cream. They come in a yellow, like a lemon cream, and then they come in a chocolate. And it looks like a tart shell, pastryed out.
Okay.
And the only way you could tell the chocolate ones is they leave a drip of the chocolate on the top, so you know whether it's lemon or chocolate.
Okay.
And then you got your Chuidel, and then you got your other stuff. It's I miss, because where I live, unless there's something hiding in this area I don't know, I miss those old new. For those of you who are familiar in Connecticut, the New Haven date, New Haven. Again, we grew up with Italian delis, like how like Dunkin' Donuts are
Okay.
on every other corner or something.
Yeah, their quarter. Yeah.
Right.
Mhm.
And every
Yep.
family did them a little bit different.
Mm-hmm.
If you needed a cake for a baptism or a confirmation, graduation, or a funeral, it didn't make a difference. These places put food in your belly, brought out excellent conversation, and I'm sure the German delis and bakeries do it all.
Mhm.
Again, every ethnicity, am I saying that right? Ethnicity does
Ethnicity.
it. Yeah, whatever.
I'm here to help.
Culture. Thank you. Wait a minute.
Yeah,
There you
no.
go.
We
Godfather
actually had
from there?
stuff from for our wedding come down from Rochester. I got married. We were living in Binghamton in the southern part of New York, near the Pennsylvania border.
Yeah.
When we got married, and we had family and friends bring in stuff from Italian bakeries in Rochester. You know, you got to have like the cookies and all that good stuff.
Mhm.
You have to, because
Yeah.
especially for a funeral. I'm a firm believer. And I'm saying this because my family I was telling my family here at the house. When I was a kid, some of my family members wanted me to be a mortician or get in the funeral business.
Interesting.
Because every family is going to go through it, your neighbors, this and that. And you do a service, you wear a nice suit every day, you drive a nice vehicle every day, you work your way up in the business. Man, Izzo's funeral homes could have been a chain right now. I could have been a mortician tycoon right now.
People were dying to get in.
Well, they're not getting
But-
out alive, that's for sure.
Well, you're not, and guess what? And you
Yeah.
partner with a
Mhm.
good bakery and deli, because
yeah.
during the sad times, what do we do as Americans, and maybe other cultures too? Around we eat. Thank you, Steve.
Yeah.
And we talk about the good times, and then it's. I think it's really important. But you got to have good food, though. You got to have good
Mhm.
food. All right, next
You
slide.
always do. Yeah. All
Yes.
right. All right. Let me
I'm
show you the
sorry.
meat. So yeah,
Show
there it
that.
is. The Abbott stuff on the right, that's a Rochester thing, frozen custard. I know. I'm sure some of y'all in different parts of the country, you have places that do frozen custard versus ice cream and stuff. Abbott's is fabulous, and then bunch of sausages.
I don't really know what the whole
Zweigel's is a
custard
local
is,
thing.
but it is quite good. We got a
Yeah.
place not too far.
I think it's just it's egg. I think is like the key difference is just like
I
having
like
the
egg.
egg in there, make it a little thicker and stuff. But
Now let me
good.
tell you a little secret. We had a guy at our ham radio club who raised chickens and ducks.
Yeah.
Okay.
He swore in every field day on Sunday morning. Mo, you remember Jim? Jim Clark, Mo? Jim would bring us the nice duck eggs.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I think, I don't know if it's psychological, but those duck eggs, scrambled or over easy, were a little bit better than the chickens. And I don't mean to be
Mhm.
disrespectful to the chickens out there, but there's something about the duck eggs. With a nice piece of toast with some butter on it, and then you throw some meat on there, whether it's a kielbasa or a sausage, it doesn't make a nice pork sausage or a kielbasa. That's a nice breakfast. That duck eggs.
So, Izzo, I've got a place here that does duck fat fries.
What is that? Duck?
Duck fat fries.
All right,
It's
what's a
got
fat
fat?
fry?
So, well, they take the duck fat, and that's what they make the fries in. That's the grease is duck fat.
So
How
if
do
you
they get
had
duck fat,
Oh my god! I don't know where they get that much duck fat to do it, but they are
So
amazing.
they're replacing Crisco and Wesson
Yep.
and lard.
Yep.
So if you didn't have a cholesterol problem, then you will now.
You
Yeah.
do now. Yeah. It's the South. You've got a cholesterol problem. Come on. We deep fry everything in butter.
Hey man,
To include
remember,
Oreos.
I remember in Tennessee walking into this deli. I mean, this was like, round barber stools at the counter.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a thing of lard.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, lard? And that's,
So
and then
duck,
only to find out when you watch My Cousin Vinny, there was a scene very, very similar to that. So I guess that's a regular, having the lard right there and slapping it on the grill and cooking it and,
Oh yeah.
duck fat is a highly prized culinary fat known for its rich, savory flavor and high smoke point,
Where'd you
making
get
it
that from
excellent.
Google?
Making it excellent for roasting, frying, and sauteing, particularly for crispy potatoes. It is considered a healthier animal fat, high in monounsaturated fat similar to olive oil, and can be purchased in jars or rendered at home. I don't know if I want to be mushing a duck up at home, but it sounds good.
I think
Yeah,
Mama
how do
Noel
you-
would say something about that.
Yeah. Hey, Mama Noel, can you squeeze the fat out of the duck and we're going to. She'll look at us like we're crazy. She'll throw us out of the house.
Mm-hmm. We'll all be sleeping in the shed. Oh.
Interesting. I'm looking at tomato pie.
Yeah, no, I want to ask you about this, Izzo. Are you familiar with tomato pie
Well,
or not?
I think I am, but we call it a different name.
Okay, and I think some others do, and it's kind of like you have the dough is more of like a focaccia bread,
Correct.
and then the tomato sauce is more of a paste, and instead of the melted mozzarella or mozzarella on there,
Mozzarella. Say it. Come
You-
on. Mozzarella.
you're gonna get it's just more of what I joke I joke with my wife, I call it the sprinkle cheese.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and so whatever blend you got, whether it's Parmesan or what's the other one? I'm blanking on what they are, but
Well,
Romano.
okay.
Like,
Romano. I was just going to say, so
Yeah.
what? So up here,
Yep.
we have a family restaurants. There are about 5 or 6 of them here in Connecticut. They have what's called Grandma's Pizza. And Grandma's, again, the dough is a little different. The crust is different. A little on the thicker side, almost like a focaccia. Plain red sauce, sprinkled Parmesan.
Yep.
They hit it with something else, and I don't know what it is because it has a little bit of a kick, and that's all it is. There's no meat. There's no moots. It's just some sprinkled Parmesan. My aunts on certain holidays would get these trays similar to what you would see in the schools. If you guys remember Pizza on Friday,
Mhm.
it was basically like a grandma's, or they use some type of cheese,
Okay.
do it in there. But they would do that, and other places would call it Nonnie's Pizza. Similar, but that's what I'm wondering if that's the closest thing to the tomato pie could be.
Yeah.
in that
And I
picture.
got to call out Gray Man and Four Wheel and Redneck made comments about shaky cheese. So what I refer to as shaky cheese when you're buying like the craft stuff that's already in the container. But the sprinkled cheese is the good stuff. The sprinkled cheese is when you get it in the container from the deli and you got to use the spoon or whatever.
Yes.
Yeah, there you go.
Correct. Or you go
Yeah.
to the pizza place and the cheese is sitting in a clear jar
Yes.
next to the red pepper flakes.
Yep.
Mhm.
Yep. Yeah, and I think I got one more photo here. Oh wait, no. Oh.
Good, Oli.
Yeah, and there's the half moons down below. Yeah, and
Yep.
I got half moons and cannolis when I was there because you can't not do it. But yeah, and then I think there was one of. Yeah, I took these photos because my wife had never been there, like I said, and I was like, oh, you got to check this place out. It's just, it should give you an idea of kind of what it is. And a lot of these are local cheeses. Weigel's is a local thing with the hot dogs. Is it Salen's? I think Salen's is out in Buffalo. It's not too far away. Yancey's cheese is out towards Buffalo, is Western New York and stuff, but good stuff.
But
And
look
there's
at
some
the
of that
top
horseradish up there too. So
Yeah, I
Yeah.
see the horseradish. But
Yeah.
go to the right. Go to the right door there.
Yeah.
The Chinese Tupperware that you get your wonton soup in.
yeah,
Somebody has now repurposed, which we all do. We all repurpose those Tupperware containers, small and large.
it's
But
hilarious you mentioned that, Izzo, because I could run upstairs to the fridge right now, and there's one of those containers that has like the pickles in it that that has sauce in it, because we were just over at my mother-in-law's for sauce on Sunday, and she sent us back with a bunch of leftovers, and there's one of those containers filled with sauce from Sunday.
So pickles like that.
Yeah.
You're either gonna like that pickle or you're gonna hate it. It's just amazing how our taste buds are just so all over the place, and you really don't know what you're getting, because it could be a dill, it could be a sweet. A bread and butter pickle is more more sugary, sweeter than a dill. But you don't know what you're gonna get. I've seen people do like the antipasto.
Mhm.
In those, with peppers, olives, and whatever brine they're using. The longer it sits there, the more it marinates. So,
Yep.
yeah. Look at that, Mike. That's good.
There you go. Who's hungry?
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
so speaking of who's hungry, apparently Cheez-It makes a cheddar and barbecue snack mix.
Oh man.
I would try that. I'll bet you. Well,
Careful.
I've
what you wish
always-
for, Izzo.
okay. I've always been one to let, and I've just gotten lazy over the years. But I used to make my own Chex snack mix before
Okay.
it became. I just did it because one day I had some corn Chex sitting there. I had some Planters peanuts, pretzels. I had the sticks, and then eventually I bought the other. I bought like the rounder small minis. You throw them in a big bowl, you toss them around, and then you sit in front of the TV with a bowl of ice cream, and that's your snack for the evening or for a couple evenings. I mean, it's a poor man's way, but I still love that stuff. Now you take a bagel chip, you get a bagel chip, and you take bagel chips, and you throw that stuff in there to really kick it up.
And Jody sent me something in our Discord. It's in the show chat, asking if it was legal in my league of robots, and no, we're not battle bots. But the only thing flammable is the battery or the wires.
So
Yes.
there is a chance that
There
could be
is a
flames.
chance that there could be flames.
Thus, the importance of always having a fire extinguisher or some type of retardant.
Yes.
Was that a Samsung?
No. No.
Was that a
actually,
Was that a Baofeng?
Yeah, pretty close.
With a
This one-
Samsung amplifier. Yeah.
Yeah. This was actually at the Centennial event, which I think was out in California,
Oh wow.
if I'm correct. That bot actually made the next match that it was in. They repaired the wire that caught fire. Yeah,
Autobots kicked his butt.
we deal with a little bit of power in amateur radio. I have seen on mine where we have pulled 91 amps through one motor on a 40 amp circuit at 12 volts.
It's a little heat.
Yeah, on
Can you
12
bring
gauge
back
wire.
that picture? Can you bring back that picture?
Yeah.
Because I spied something.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
The portable. There was a portable. And I'm trying to think if that's a motor. I mean, see, back in the day, you
Oh.
see that always had a Motorola look. Now there's so many radios
Right
right,
there.
now that look like a Motorola,
Uh-huh.
but they could be Radio Diddy or
Yeah, those
Radio
are
Audio, whatever they're
probably who's the one that's covering all the shops now. They're not. They're
Red
basic.
Tail.
they're base.
Yeah.
So when
FRS
not talk-
radios.
We're not talking an
Okay.
analog /
No,
DMR radio. Okay.
no.
All right. Just checking. That's
Um,
the first thing that's the first,
the-
besides the flame, that's the first thing I saw.
But it's
Th-
got.
there's
It
a-
looks like the radio's got a screen on
Hit
it.
the
Though.
it
plus.
does.
So it's not
Can I
just a
plus that up?
basic FRS. If it's got is that a screen or is that
That might-
just
That might
a
be
label.
a sticker.
it could be.
Yeah.
It could be.
Yeah,
Well,
that ain't
hang
no,
on.
Yeah,
Enhance.
Enhance.
Let's
Enhance.
let's go full screen here because you can see right here the bot's on fire.
Oh. Okay.
So this is the actual match,
All right.
and they did end up hitting the field e-stop because you can see the FTA go. He just hit the button. He's got the fire extinguisher in his hand already, and she's got the radio on. So I'm not sure. I know
Because
they
every
use
because every time you
basic
key up the
walkies.
radio, the LED light is going to go on, or the light
That
display
was
light
the
will go on.
most undramatic fire emergency I've ever seen.
I know.
So let me ask
Do
you:
they not know what that lithium battery was capable of? Oh, y'all don't have lithium. It's-
No, we're using sealed lead acid.
That's right.
So,
but like in NASCAR, I didn't see a yellow flag go up.
Well, it would
um,
blend in.
Or
with all
does
the
everything
balls.
does everything have to stop, Steve? Like, what's
Yeah.
the rules?
so if you watch this guy right here that's grabbing the fire extinguisher right in the top
Yeah.
center, he
Yeah.
hit the e-stop right there. So that
What does that
stopped
do?
it stopped everything on the field.
So
It-
that button controls every robot across in the field.
Every robot on the field. I'll take
So that's the
some
emergency
pictures.
button. Then.
It's like a
Yeah.
weather alert radio. It just knocks them all
Basically.
off.
Why didn't they have that button in Terminator?
I will
mean,
grab
like,
some pictures from this when I go
Asking
this
for
weekend.
a friend.
Because at the driver's station we have an A stop and an E stop. The A stop is it just kills us for autonomous, so the bot won't move.
Right.
But then once we go into controlled by the students, they can still drive around and do everything. E stop is something went wrong, we can hit that and it kills the bot completely.
Who has authorization? Does everybody have authorization to hit the E?
Any of the drivers. So at each driver station, let me share the screen back out here. There are 3 driver stations on each side. Okay. So you can see 1 here, 2 here, and 3 here. At each driver station, there's an A and an E
Gotcha.
because that only controls their bot.
And for everybody
A-
else trying
the
to
A.
find Steve's little bitty mouse pointer, it's on the
Yeah.
right hand side of the screen.
Right hand side. I'm over here on the blue side.
Golly, and big and man, you know they make bigger pointers, right?
Yeah, I
you
just don't
put
know
a
how to do
yellow.
that.
Can you make it? You even I know how to do that. Come on,
Well,
even I know how to
High
do that.
contrast,
Yeah, I'm not switching that full time.
You make
cricket
it any
phone
color.
size pointer.
But yeah, so each driver station has both an autonomous stop and an emergency stop, and it
But
only
your
affects theirs.
autonomous is only for yours, right?
Right, and our e-stop is only for ours.
Oh, I thought ESOP did even the competition side
No.
too.
So the scoring table, which is right across from this camera angle here, straight over, you see the light right in the center. Right next to it, there is a field e-stop. So the
All right, now-
scoring table can actually shut down the entire field.
All
with
right,
their
I got
button.
more questions now. Now,
Mhm.
how is that being done? Is that being done through RF?
Yes and no. So the bots are RF. They're 2.4 gig Wi-Fi, which is RF.
Mhm.
Each driver station, we have a laptop computer that is plugged in through a wired network cable. The scoring table has a full server stack underneath it that runs all of the scoring and information. So what else you got?
No, I was just thinking if somebody wanted to be a smart ass, malicious, bring in your Baofeng, and I didn't know if you were doing it on some type of RF with either a PL or a DPL, and that's how it would blanket the area.
Tortoise, you're right. 2.4 in there is a mother. Luckily, the way they're set up, there is an encryption key that gets put on every robot's radio for that event. So we have to basically check the radios in when we get there. They code them for the event, and they get mounted on the robot.
And that
And then-
changes. And that changes for every competition.
Changes for each event.
The key goes in. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And they put a sticker on it saying that it's been validated for that event.
It's all
And-
legit.
We are not allowed to use Wi-Fi other than when the bot's on the field. So we have to make sure our Wi-Fi is off in our laptop. They ask people not to hotspot their phones.
Mm-hmm.
However, it happens quite a bit.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, luckily they're pushing enough power with the router that they use that it kind of takes over the area. But
Izzo, is
The-
your phone next to your microphone?
Yeah.
the spectators jamming can be.
It's jamming your microphone signal. Please get it
Are
out.
you-
I thought it might be that.
I've
Are you
tolerated
serious?
it, but
Thanks
you-
for saying
well-
something, Joe.
Are you serious?
Yeah,
It's
I
all-
could hear a little bit of a buzz.
Because it's always been there for the last 5 years.
well,
Mm.
it's
All right,
connected
I
to a
just
different
moved-
tower tonight. I don't know.
All right,
Yeah.
I just moved it. Is that any better now?
Completely gone.
Yeah,
Yes, thank you.
It's gone.
Wow. Okay.
So
Well, it's a good thing that was it 2.4 gigahertz is not a harmonic of 2 meters.
Unless you're running a Baofeng.
Yeah,
Yeah.
not just joking. It is a harmonic, and so
It
like,
is.
you
Everything-
are going to
everything-
probably get a little something from a Baofeng if you
Everything
wanted to.
is everything is a harmonic of everything.
Who's
Yeah.
got the wand, Shane? The robots are messing
Mhm.
up.
well, and we do have the option of doing 6 gig.
600
we have-
would be cool.
We have to have multiple radios to do that because apparently there's some federal law about we can't run a 6 gig access point via battery power.
Hmm.
And I'm still trying to find that one.
Wait,
so-
you can't run a 6 gig
access point
point via battery power.
via battery. So the
So
fact that
you
it
have to
does-
run it off mains, like what
off
do you mean?
mains power. Yep. Because our radios will do PoE, power over Ethernet, but that's coming off the 12-volt battery on the robot.
Mm-hmm.
And usually, when I'm at the shop with the kids or in the classroom, we are connected via Wi-Fi. Well, the robot is the access point. So to do the 6 gig Wi-Fi, I have to have a secondary radio that is the access point that both my laptop and the robot would connect to. And that has to be connected via mains power.
Okay.
And I'm
So
just
you-
like, that is so not right.
Using 6 gigahertz on battery power generally works well for modern devices.
Hmm. But are they access points on 6 gig?
access points? That's just
This is above my pay grade. I'll just
Yeah.
sit back.
I still have not found the rules on it. I'm just,
operating a 6 gigahertz access point on battery power is generally prohibited by regulatory bodies like the FCC for standard
okay.
indoor devices,
There you go.
which will require a wired, non-portable power source. Who the hell come up with that?
Let me Google that for you. I have no clue.
Yeah, and
Wow.
why? I'm
Yeah.
curious. Why is that?
Why is that exactly? But it's
I liked it better when Joe Brett was asking AI in the Google regarding what meats and mozzarella. And
No, I'm really intrigued by 6 gigahertz now. Like, what the?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
and I do have a secondary radio. I do want to play with the 6 gig stuff.
Wow.
But I don't know that they're set up to do it competition wise. It's in the
Okay.
rules that it's allowed, but so far I haven't seen any of the other teams do it.
Do you think it's about interference?
Oh, absolutely, 100%.
Because
Well, here's an exception for fire call. Very low powered
Thank you.
The FCC has adopted rules for very low powered, which allows for battery powered mobile 6 gigahertz operations designed for short range portable devices rather than traditional high powered access points. Still, that's not very clear.
Yeah. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see and to play with.
If anybody wants to do what I did on Saturday, go to, I believe it was Rebuilt. Help me out, Steve, because their logo was all over the place on Saturday of watching the live stuff. Is that the channel or is that the organization?
Rebuilt is the game name for this year. That's the whole. Their theme is first age.
On the left side is
on the left side. Yep. And what we have is there's 3 different levels of competition. Right now, it's first Lego League, first Tech Challenge, and then first Robotics competition. So elementary, middle, high school, basically, is how that breaks out. Unfortunately, next year, first Lego League is going away because Lego decided not to renew the contract. So, not sure what they're going to do with that. But yeah, Rebuilt is the game theme, I guess, for this year. But first is the actual organization. And yes, there are, if I minimize this.
While you're doing that, thank you, brother Eric. It's not about the Google, it's about the Chat GTP. That's what it seems to be lately.
So, the Blue Alliance is the website that I pulled up earlier that has the game day option to pull up multiples. This is week 4 events. Just that list.
Wow.
And yeah, all the way down to the Israeli District Championship. You want to see some crazy robots.
So this weekend, if you got nothing else better to do, or if you're at work or whatever, throw it on in the background.
Yep.
Wow.
And if you come up to FSC District Hartsville event, if you find that one,
I've got further news.
You can find my fat behind on there. Be pretty easy to spot me too. I'll either be in light blue or purple.
All right, everybody. So that's your marching orders for this weekend. And next Tuesday, when we come up again, we want to know if you saw Steve. Next week you can put a 1 in the chat if you saw Steve.
Yep. And my father has signed up to be a robot inspector at the Hartsville event.
Excellent.
And he's also volunteered for the state event in Anderson, South Carolina in 2 weeks.
Wow, look at you guys go.
Whether my team makes it or not, he's going to go.
Steve, why don't you bring up, do you have that link if anybody wants to send a donation?
The Blue Alliance? Yeah. The donation link?
Yeah.
The way it does that, the overview for why the FCC prohibits battery operation.
Yeah.
The FCC prohibits 6 gigahertz low power indoor access points from running on battery power to ensure they remain permanently installed indoors, thereby minimizing the risk of harmful interference to licensed incumbent services, such as fixed microwave links. Battery powered devices are generally considered portable and prone to being used outdoors. So they don't want you messing with already licensed frequencies.
Mike, go ahead.
I'll be back in a second.
Yeah, do what you got to do.
Yeah, everybody needs a bathroom break sometimes. Okay. Hope everything comes out okay.
Wow. Call the man out
See,
like that.
Now you guys got me intrigued why my phone was interfering with the microphone, because I've always had it there.
Signals.
Yeah, but why tonight and not any other night? Or maybe this is tonight you only...
Your shielding's got a crack in it somewhere on the microphone line.
On the microphone cable. Or
I got
tripped up in your...
I got 6 ferrite. I don't know if you can see it.
Oh.
Well, that's because it came in so long, but there's 6 ferrite There's 6 ferrite clamps over there.
You were just on the other side of the ferrites. I don't know.
crossed or whatever. I pushed
Cross,
it back.
crossing the streams.
Lindsay said Mike's going to transmit on 6 meters outside or 6 gigahertz outside.
That man leaves. That man leaves no band behind, does he?
That's right. I wonder how his 5-2 challenge is going.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to ask him.
There's several people doing that.
Yeah.
That's I wonder if they really thought out the 52-day part. I was like, man, that's over 2 months. Or yeah, because they started in February. That's only 28 days, and then
There you go.
Joe is 2 meters 5'2", 6'5" active in your area? That northern Mississippi area?
me and some other operators used to keep it hot. But not so much anymore.
Okay.
For me, the guys over in Long Island are very active on it.
Yeah, we used
Yeah,
to be nightly.
You could reach Long Island from your place.
Yeah, yeah. Every once in a while, even on GMRS, it's amazing the GMRS activity. I don't know if it's simplex, if they're going through a repeater, but sometimes I think it's more simplex. And just depending on where I am, they're dead full quieting, and all of a sudden, boom, I lose them. So,
Okay.
All right, what I missed? We've talked robots, Italian robots. Would we be back to Italian now? What are we doing?
Actually, we brought up the 5-2 challenge.
Oh, sweet.
So
We
how's
All
that
right,
going,
wait,
for you, Mike?
who of you are actually doing this thing? Not to put you on the spot, but I just
Yeah.
did.
Yeah. Sorry.
so
Okay.
every day, every morning
Yep.
when I go to work, I throw my call out on the way home. I do. Today
Nice.
I was off. I had to go down to the Walmart. Through my nothing today. Last week I did make a contact with a guy over in the Long Island. But it's cool. But I just wish there was more.
I do too.
I sent an email out to our. We've got about 35 club members. I pushed it out. Hopefully that would strike something.
All right. Vince is asking what it is. So this is something I came
Excellent.
up to. Vince, make sure to go to my channel to like and subscribe. And no, I'm challenging Hams to get on 146.52 and call out for 52 days. Okay. And I kind of learned after the fact that they have the 145 alive challenge over like in the UK where the calling frequency is 145.5 and they're actually doing it for 50 days. So we are going to one up them, actually two up them by doing it for 2 more days. Right. But,
well, actually a lot more than that. You got a whole megahertz on them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we do. But it's that simple. Get on 2 meters, throw your call out, and let's try to make some noise because a lot of us will listen. Okay. And that's an important thing. A lot of us will have 5-2 on the B band, and then we got our favorite repeater on the A band. And, we're listening, but nobody's saying anything. And so what I'm trying to do is encourage more people to get on and try to use it because there's a number of reasons. I've gotten a couple comments and emails from technicians who made their first 2-meter simplex contact these last couple weeks because of
Excellent.
this.
Good.
And Eric's N1JUR is in the chat. He had somebody comment on one of his videos. The same thing. So technicians have full privileges on 2 meters, and 2 meters is a very common band for radios, for repeaters, for use. A lot of us have that. A lot of us, our first radios are 2 meters. So 146.52, it's great for techs. All right. And another reason is for us to kind of learn what we can actually do with our stations, whether it's our mobile, our whatever we have at the QTH, or I've gone out on walks around the neighborhood and called out and had simplex contacts just with my HT. One about a week ago was with a student at RIT, which is in the same town as I am. It's probably a few miles away, but I talked to a first year student at RIT who was just happened to be in their car listening on 5.2, and which was great. And then he went out later that day to do POTA. And at the end of his activation, he called out on 5-2, and I worked him again for POTA, as did a couple other local hams. You know, I had to kind of wait my turn and a little bit of a pile up on 2 meters, right?
Hey,
but
there you go.
but that's what we're trying to do is generate that activity, because if people actually hear things now, that activity will breed activity, right? But you're going to learn what you can do. You're going to learn. I'm already learning on my commute where I can get out better because of elevation and line of sight, stuff like that. And then lastly, I'll say is just to encourage us to, like I say, like RF around and find out. The guy I talked to today, who's a regular on 5-2, he was telling me when we made the contact, he's like, I'm outside, I'm trying a new setup with a Yagi, I'm trying something different. Let me try pointing the beam at you, and now that I know where you are, because you're on the back end, and I want to encourage people to experiment and think, you know, like, okay, the HT with the mag mount in the car is not cutting it. Or, hey, what can I do with a Yagi? Let me go up really high with an HT and, you know, go up on this hill and see who I can talk to or who can work me. And so I think that regardless of our license class, we can all learn. We know damn well, being hams, we can make improvements. Because as soon as we set something up, we think, oh, geez, you know, a month later, I know how to do it better. Or I could have done it this way, or I could have done it cheaper, or whatever. So I want to encourage that experimentation, that just RFing around and stuff. So hopefully we get more activity, we experiment more, we learn, we have fun. And so that's kind of what this is all about. I've been doing it every day since actually before a couple days before March 1st when I officially launched it. But it's been great. Some days I get a contact like today. Some days I strike out. Sometimes I'm calling out on a HT on a walk. Sometimes I'm at home with 50 watts. Sometimes I'm in the car with 20. You know, it is what it is.
I'm laughing at Eric's comment because back in the day when I first got licensed in 1989, I had a dedicated scanner on 652. I had a dedicated CB on channel 9. It was just one of those things. I had another radio on Marine 16 that was getting between 16 and 22 alpha. And I think it has to do with the density of hams in your area.
It does. Yeah, that's a good point.
And listen, I'm jealous, Mike. I wish I could do I wish. But Mike, question for you. You ready? What's the least amount of power you've made a contact on 652? What is the most power you've used on 652?
I've never used more than 50 watts on 5.2. I don't have anything that will go.
I don't know if you have like a Mirage amp, sitting there. Okay.
No, on 5.2, you know, at 50 watts, I have an ICOM ID 880H dual band, old school D-Star dual band mobile. Still has the packet jack in the back. It's a really good radio.
Great radio. Yep, I have one. Yeah.
And Tio just made an all-star note out of one.
I know. Yep. That is he got a steal at the Hamfest for those. Those are not cheap radios if you look at them on eBay, especially if they came with the original box.
They weren't cheap when they were out as a main product part of the product line.
Yeah.
They were in the $400 range easy, I think.
Yeah. But I've made contacts on FM 5.2, like at 5 watts. I don't think I've ever turned it, you know, like seriously turned stuff down below that when making simplex contacts. Usually it's, you know, on the HT. But the thing I'd say about the power question, if we're talking about FM in 2 meters, is
just curious.
It's important to remember with higher frequencies, it's easier to get gain in antennas because the wavelengths are so short that the elements are going to be shorter. And so to put together a Yagi for 2 meters is a lot easier to do than 20. Okay.
Yep.
So when you compare VHF to HF, there it is.
There
I
you go,
recognize
Joe. Thank you.
Yep.
And with the detachable head too.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
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 detachable head.
And it's
Oh, and the magnets
It's
on those are
magnetic.
phenomenal. Those magnets
That's right. Are awesome.
uh-oh.
yeah. That's why ICOM can't ship with a bracket is because they spend so much on the magnets.
You're not
But
wrong.
yeah, no, but
That's a good radio. I used
yeah.
it mobile for many years.
yeah, yep. The
What's it doing
so
in the shack now, Joe?
yeah, so you can just
Yes.
you can get a better antenna, and not worry about going over 50 watts, or so, I mean, if I know there's some high power 2 meter mobiles that'll do 65 or 75 watts. You get something like 9700 that'll put out 100. It is what it is, but like if you're running into like a janky antenna, you can do a lot better for not much more on the higher bands. And it's not a lot to buy a tape measure and turn that thing into a Yagi with some PVC, and that'll get out so much better.
19 inches.
Yeah.
But I will say, I've had a lot of fun with 300 watts in my Yagi. So
Mm.
There you go.
the ERP
Mirage.
is pretty crazy on it. 14
Kicking-
ounce Yagi.
Kicking
Yeah.
that toggle switch on that Mirage, huh, Joe?
1 inch hard line going to
Ooh.
it.
And I'm glad you mentioned that too, because that's the other consideration too. You start running power on higher frequencies, especially
Gotta have
6
decent
meters
coax.
and above. You better have good coax and stuff. Otherwise, like a good portion of that ain't gonna make it to the antenna. The extremes in the higher bands and VHF and above, the extremes matter so much more because at those frequencies, everything starts to look like an antenna. Every adapter, every jumper, everything starts to look like an antenna at those wavelengths, and it's easy to just lose a lot of what you're putting in.
All right, next question.
Yeah.
Have you used a J pole? Have you used an elk antenna? Have you used like an egg beater? Have you used a simple Diamond X50 or X200, whatever, the common stuff you find off the shelves? What have you used besides a mobile? Besides mobile.
I have the N9 TAX dual band Slim Jim for 2 and 70. I also have it for 125 for 220. I have the Ed Fong roll up J pole, the dual band one.
That's what I got. Yep.
And those J poles are all great. The Ed Fong's a little bit smaller. It's a little bit more convenient for travel. I use that with my 705 because it's got the BNC connection. The N9TX has, I have that one with the SO239 and stuff. I tend to use that more with like the 50 watt mobiles and stuff. And I'm doing POTA or VHF contesting. I have Elks. I have the dual band, and then I have the one for 220 also. You can see there's a pattern forming. I got it for all these different bands, but the Elk antennas are great too. They're very portable, and stuff. So those
They're
are all
not airline
good.
portable.
I love my elk, and it's broke, but still,
Oh no.
I mean, it's just an element's broke off of it. But I mean, it's arrows. So I found out after trying to replenish this elk antenna that aluminum arrows around here is actually hard to come by. Everybody wants
Yes,
to
they
make
are.
carbon fiber and all this junk now.
Oh, really?
So, yeah.
Mhm.
About
Now,
like
I
to the
had
yard
it-
sale.
I had an issue with my elk, and I'll tell the story because it was great customer service, and I like the antennas. Like I paid for both of them, and the arrow element, on the elk, and I don't know exactly which one it was, and I don't know what the right term is for this, and I could run over and grab it if I need to, but where it's threads into the actual element, where there's like that screw, like whatever there's something in there and it popped out, whatever that connection point is, and it wouldn't stay in there. I could connect everything and the antenna would work fine, but then I could just pull the element right off, directly
Oh, wow.
off. And so I sent an email. I was like, hey, I need an extra element. It's, whatever the color was for the label. And they're like, oh, well, you can do this, or this to fix it, but we'll send you out another. And and I had a new one in a couple days, and then I have the busted one. I'm pointing at it right now over on a shelf. Like I said, it still worked, but it just, whatever that threaded connector that goes into the arrow, it wasn't staying. And I didn't want to try gluing it or something else on my own without reaching out, which is what I did. But I reached out to, what do I need to do to buy? And they're like, oh, we'll just send it to you. So
that's great customer service.
yeah, no, so that's good. Yeah.
I'm on the Google. I'm trying to find the beam that I had about 15, 20 years ago.
We need a new banner. Every time he says the Google, it's across the screen.
It's similar to what Radio Waves has. I picked it up for $25 at a Hamfest because the guy, first off, he was selling it for $75 to $100, and then at the end of the night or the end of the day, he didn't want to bring it home. I'm on another. You guys can't see what I'm looking at, obviously. I'm trying to find it here. I don't even think they even make them anymore.
There you go.
Oh, well. I'm looking at the Moxon beam for 2 meters. That's on QSL.net if anybody wants to.
One of my local friends just who lives in a neighborhood, a couple blocks away, just messaged me a couple nights ago. He's like, "Hey, I'm making this 2-meter Moxon." I was like, "Awesome!" And he's got a 3D printer and all that. I don't have the 3D printing stuff. And then he's like, "You want one?" I was like, "Send it." So I'm sure I'll get it at some point.
Yeah.
But I've never played with a Moxon, so yeah.
Well, this beam that I had, like I said, I don't even remember the name of it, and I can't find it. I thought it was. I even checked the rafters up in the garage a couple weeks ago because I wanted to pull it out, but this thing could literally, you fold it. You can put it in a backpack if you want. It takes you 10 minutes to put it, and the wires are already cut. They snap in, they snap out. It was really a nice design. It was nothing homemade. And I don't even see it here available. I'm on page 2 here. I don't even see anything close to it, like I said, except for the Radio Waves one. But that's a Gigaparts. That is a dual band for 2 and 440 9-element quad. This was only 4 elements, but like I said, I had fun. It was really a fun way of playing on sideband, and then if I quickly wanted to turn it, all I had to do was just take it out of redo the clamp, make it go vertical. But 2-meter sideband was fun.
Oh yeah.
But
I bet.
I don't know if anybody near me. But Mike, for your challenge, like I said, I was in the rafters. I found stuff I didn't even know I had up in the rafters in the garage. Hamman CT says the Cubex quad. I'm wondering if that was it, Hamman. It could have been. Like I said,
The Cubex quad's a big antenna. At least the one that was on my original tower was.
The boom on this thing was probably 22 to 26 inches long. It wasn't very, like I said, it was something that you could put up in the backyard, which is what I ran for, and I was just playing. But again, experimentation, right, Mike? This is what we do, and I think what I like about your challenges, I think before you start playing around with on the HF bands, you may want, especially for a tech, try the 2-meter, build it yourself kind of stuff. If you build your first J pole, do it. You'll have fun. If that's the least thing you do it, because that's a huge step, I think, in learning.
It was the first antenna I built after.
Was it?
Yeah, and I seen it off Michael's website before I seen him on YouTube.
My first one was a 450 ohm ladder line. And I remember I messed up because I cut the notch at the wrong, which obviously throws the antenna off into, and this is of course back before we had antenna analyzers, because as soon as keyed it up with 1 watt, and it's like, VSWR is like 7 to 1. So I knew,
Yeah.
but 450 ohm ladder line, I had a whole, I had feet of it, tons of feet of it, and you cut it and you throw that piece in somewhere else, and then you start all over.
Yep.
But it's fun. So this is where, again,
Yeah.
I love what you're doing to inspire people.
Yep.
And
Well,
with this,
And I'm sure that, if it hasn't set in yet, it's going to set in at some point, and there's going to be like some 5-2 fatigue from people like me or Eric that are calling out every day, and stuff. But by doing it for a longer period of time, one of the things I'm also trying to get at is habits, and to change some habits. And like one of the first things I did was I flipped my VFOs and I put 2 meters on top and I put the repeater on the bottom. That way it's one less thing I need to do to call out whenever I'm in the car. And it's a minor thing, but sometimes just like those little changes in behavior and stuff can be tremendous, in longer term outcomes. And so it's a small thing, but I did it, and it worked for me. It might not work for everybody, but I think if we change some habits, and if some people have a positive experience on 2 meter simplex, and they're gonna keep trying it. Okay, if if people improve their stations, that's all the better. And so there might be some people that get frustrated, and I get it. It's unfortunate, and like you said, Izzo, I use the term ham density all the time, and I'm in a ham dense area, and I can do a lot of what I do on VHF and above because I have an active group in Western New York and Southern Ontario, Canada, that's big into that stuff. But it's not going to be like that everywhere, and there's other factors like terrain as well that factor in. But at the end of the day, it doesn't hurt to try. We don't know unless we try. And we're not going to make a difference unless we try and get on the air and make some noise and stuff. So
I'll tell
I
you a
appreciate
story.
everyone that's doing this. I really, really do. It's amazing.
Well,
if
and
this
you're having
support,
fun with it.
right, that's number one.
Yeah.
But I'm living proof of it. When I moved to my neighborhood here about 15 years ago, in the summertime, there was 3 guys who rented houses down by the water here, and they brought their HT, and they were playing on simplex. And one day I caught them, and of course I started walking around, and right away they're like, "Hey, you're the guy with the cigar who gets on to." Yeah, that's me. And it was fun. It was fun to keep the HT literally right here, and at 8 o'clock at night, 9 o'clock, sometimes at 11 p.m. or 11 a.m. Unfortunately, those guys, I think, have either passed away or whatever, and now there's new people. So again, we talk about the trends.
Yep.
And I think everything is like a sine wave where you live.
Yeah.
And everything. So,
Well,
don't give up, because like Mike, what you did, same thing too. I run a 5100. One of the radios I have is a 5100. So one side sits on my D-Star, which I'm always on. The other side, I got tired of monitoring repeaters that are ghosted right now. So what's the next thing new? Throw on a simplex channel. Throw on 652 now.
Yep.
And you just never know somebody passing through the area.
Yep.
There you go.
Yeah, and Eric's done something unique with it. N1JUR. He's been challenging himself to do 10 minutes a day. Okay, and that's the beauty of this. Like I try to be flexible and simple. I don't care when you start. I don't care when you finish. I don't care if you make contacts. Just get on the air and make some noise. At the end of the day, and he's challenged himself to do 10 minutes. But if you watch any of his videos when he makes those contacts, and I give him a hard time for this, or not so much a hard time, but I always call it out because it's so true. You see that smile all of a sudden. You see and it's genuine because it's a surprise. When we call out on 5.2 more often than not, we don't have anyone coming back. When I call CQ POTA, after a couple calls, or maybe I don't even need a call, like it just starts coming in. It's like, okay, finally. But when we get that contact on 5.2, it's a lot. It's like, oh, this has happened. This is happening right now. Oh shit! Like this is going down. Let's do this. And
it's an adrenaline rush, isn't it? It's an adrenaline rush, and
it's a surprise. And
it's like your first contact.
Some of them can be very memorable, whether it's a text first contact or the fact that you just made that contact or whatever. I tell a story. I think I did a YouTube short about. I get in the car to go to work a couple weeks ago. I turned the car on. Radio's already on 5.2. There were two people rag chewing. And I'm thinking, son of a, this is it. Like this is what I want, you know? And I chatted with both of them after quick on the commute in, but this is exactly what I'm trying to create and generate, you know? And you get to if it ever got to, you know, a point where people need to QSY or whatever. And I had a conversation with someone about this today. Then that's fine. Yeah. We'll QSY to 5.5 or 5.8 or whatever.
There's plenty of other channels.
But if you're observing etiquette like you do on HF nets or on repeaters, and you're taking pauses here or there to see if there's other traffic, there's nothing wrong. And at the end of the day, I did not want to complicate this. And be like, call out on 5.2, then QSY to 5.5 or 5.8 or this. No, just make some noise. I want people to hear it. I want others to hear that there's traffic. I want others to get curious. And I want others to push that button and key up.
All right, gotta ask. We gotta ask. And not that it matters. Any sad hams, Mike, who have said 652 is a calling channel. You're supposed to establish contact and move off. First off, that's a gentleman's agreement. I get it. But if it's not being used for anything else, why can't you just sit there? So the question comes,
man.
Why not? Why not?
No, just talking to the old man that told me that.
But why not, though? You see what I'm saying? Why not?
It ain't the it ain't the regulation. And I want to use this.
I don't know if it's a regulation. I don't know if it's a regulation. You tell that old man. I don't know if it's a regulation. I just
tell
think
that old man directions to the house. We talk about it.
I tell that old man to QSY to channel 16 on the Marine band. You know, like it is not the same thing. It is. This is not channel 16 on the Marine band, where you're going to hail the Coast Guard and they're going to tell you to bump to another Marine channel or something else like that. And stuff. It's a calling channel, and at the end of the day, observe etiquette. You know, if there's a lot, it seems like there's a lot of traffic.
Bottom line, that's the bottom line. Because why not? Yeah. If, like, for instance, if Steve and Joe are communicating on 652, let's just say we all lived within 10 miles from each other, and Mike, I want to call you, but I don't want to text you, call you on the phone. You know, throw your call sign. Joe and Steve are going to acknowledge me. You know, and I'll be like N2MAKW1FYG. You're gonna, hey, can you go up to 655? Boom. We're gonna move up to. It's very, very simple. And then these guys are going to resume what they're doing. And again, that's being. And I think that also teaches other people proper etiquette. Instead of just sitting here, all right, I got to sit here and wait until Steve and Joe are done. And 20 minutes later, what do you say? Screw it, or whatever. Don't do that. Just do it politely. There's nothing. Politeness goes a long way around here in our hobby.
I've done a number of POTAs on 5.2. And I do, and it'll be coming up. So here's a teaser. I participate the last couple of years in the Autism Awareness Special Event. And get to operate with the Whiskey 2 Alpha call sign. And I just got the email from James the other day that my son Ben and I are good to go for this year.
Excellent.
And I've actually generally live streamed those POTAs on 5.2 just to kind of show, you can actually do this, you know. And I do the Whiskey 2 Alpha on 5.2 to give the locals a chance, but also to try to help raise awareness for autism and stuff. It's, you can do the POTA there, and no one has ever complained to me. I've seen it elsewhere, and I've heard from others that some places be like, oh, we don't, you don't rag chew on 5.2 or whatever. All right. There might be, some norms in different parts of the country or whatever. And again, I'll be considerate or whatever. But I'm not going to be a dick about things or whatever. But at the end of the
Correct.
day, it's a calling frequency, but it's also a frequency. It's not an emergency one. It's not designated for emergency this or that. Like, let's use it. And if others
It's
need
not
to
the
use it,
hurricane net.
that's fine. And like on 5.2, like if I was making contacts on 5.2 and there was like an emergency or something nearby, yeah, I'll QSY or it's just like the same thing. Like if I'm driving out to Hamvention or something and I get someone on 5.2, that's cool. But I'm fine. Like if I'm talking to somebody on the way out to Dayton and like, hey, let's move to 5.8. And you leave it open. That's cool to do too. Like,
and
just be a good person. Like,
the truckers have been doing that for years.
Yeah.
Especially the guys who have 2 CB rigs. One sits on 19 100% of the time. And the other one will go to 17, 16, it'll go up to 24, because especially if you're running with it with another guy. That's what they do. There's no one, I have never heard on Channel 19 in the Northeast of anybody arguing that you're on my channel. I have never heard that. Maybe because the guys are always moving and eventually especially, I mean, if you're moving in the opposite direction, you're going to go out of range, whether you're running 5 watts or if you're running a little bit of heat, whatever. You know what I mean?
Yep.
But
well,
I don't know.
Funny you bring up POTA.
ooh.
Our buddy Brent is actually plugging in every live stream he can. I told him we'd throw it out there for him tonight.
Okay.
The weekend of September 25th through 27th. If you're in Kentucky,
Very cool.
Taylorsville Lake. He's already got Kyle on the hook. I think Ham Radio Adventure Guy is going to be there. So,
hey,
Nice.
Brent, tell you what, maybe in early September, get a hold of me. We'll get you on here.
Yeah.
And we'll help you. We'll
Yeah,
hear
we'll
more
promote
about
it
what
big.
you're doing. So just get a hold of me, man.
hamradioclubhouse@gmail.com.
Or just look me up on QRZ and send me an email through there, 601.
There you go.
7-hour drive.
7-hour drive for you, Joe.
Mm-hmm. We're talking about the 5.2 and causing stinks. I believe I may carry the record of creating the biggest stink on 5.2.
Why would you do? What'd you do?
Preach.
This had such reach that before I started going to Huntsville Hamfest, some of my friends that went came back and said, "Man, we heard your call sign more than anything at Huntsville." I wasn't even doing YouTube yet. I was like, "What are you talking about?" He's like, "Man, you got people all riled up. Why the hell would you put a repeater on 5.2?" I said, "A repeater? Ain't got no repeater on 5.2. He's like, "Well, that's what everybody's talking about." I said, "They don't know what the hell they talking about." I said, "I have an Echo Link node that sits on 5.2 so that our buddies that truck drive across the country can still talk to his friends here at home." I said, that's what all it was. And it worked out great. We had an over the road truck driver that was like gone for 2 weeks, home for 2 weeks kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then we had one of our guys that was in our 5.2 group got deployed over to Kuwait, and he was able to use Echo Link to still talk back home, right?
Oh,
With
nice.
us locals. I said, "Ain't a damn thing wrong with that. It ain't repeating nothing. It ain't tying
5.2
it
to
up."
Kuwait, some DX.
Yeah. They thought I had a daggone full blown towered repeater or something on. I was stupid. No.
Ugh.
I have a remote link that is monitored and controlled and is not tying up the frequency any more than 2 people making a QSO.
There you go.
So, but yeah, it was quite a stink there for a little bit. I was
Back
amused
in-
that it made it all the way to Huntsville.
I was
That
going to
is
say, then
funny.
you had the guys at Huntsville that had the repeater on 5.2.
Oh yeah, well,
During the
I
Hamfest.
had nothing to do with that.
Sure.
Besides
So
maybe
back-
the idea. I don't know.
Was it one of those store and forward devices
No.
that if
No.
you okay?
Oh.
No.
So we were
Mine or
playing with
theirs.
Theirs.
Oh, gotcha.
because back in the 90s, 1993, we were playing with this device. It was a store and forward. So if you were out of range, you would key up let's just say Mike and I were 50 miles away from each other. We couldn't talk direct, but we could hear the device, the black box, we'll call it. I forget
Mhm.
who made this.
I saw a video about one recently.
If you came in on 440, let's say 440 simplex channel, you can cross patch it over to a VHF simplex channel.
Mhm.
So we would have, and Mo would probably remember this. We called it Hawaii 50 446.050, and we had it
Oh.
ported out to 145.73. Well, somebody someday changed that to 52 by accident, and some of the local guys said, "Hey, wait a minute, you're causing some interference." We get it. And we quickly changed it, acknowledged it. But that was a cool device. That was a cool device to extend your simplex range. They don't make it anymore. I don't know if it was. I don't think it was MFJ, but somebody had, and it was a really cool thing to play with. So I'm not sure where Mo is in the chat. He must be doing. There he is.
I guess.
Yeah, there he is.
I remembers those days.
You remember those days? Remember, Mo? We used it in the Blizzard. We used it for the Blizzard of '93. Silent Key by name of Tom N1HUI said, "Hey, listen, I got this device. This could help us," and it worked. It worked because we used it because the repeater that we were using. Uncle Scotty created this thing for the hospital. Yes, Steve, exactly. He sold this idea without talking to us. He says, "Put me in your command post, and I can get doctors and nurses, and I'll partner with the local 4-wheel drive guys, the local group, who are not hams, but we'll put a ham in the front seat, and we can take 2 to 3 doctors and nurses, and we'll make round trips. You're picking up one, you're dropping off another." And the repeater that we were supposed to use that went down. This guy Tom said, "I got a solution," and it worked great. I mean, we're talking a good 20 to 25, maybe 30 mile circumference of talking on simplex, and we were making it work. It was a fun thing to do, and it was all legal. So, but where that thing is, I don't have that device anymore. Wish I did. Oh well.
Well, speaking of devices to extend your range, I got a question for all of you.
Uh-oh.
All right, so I ask you guys a question, and I'm curious, especially about Joe or Steve. I don't know how far inland you are, Steve, but you guys have any like memorable Tropo contacts? On VHF, like 2 meters or so. You have any like interesting experiences with Tropo? Because I know the first time I had it, like I was like, "Holy, is this what I think it is?" Like I read about this when I was studying. Like,
so I actually had one on one of our local repeaters.
Okay.
With a guy in Peachtree, Georgia, so just outside of Atlanta.
All right.
From Charleston, that's an 8-hour trip.
Yeah, so that's a hike.
One way. And their repeater happened to be down, and he heard ours ID, and he changed his tone.
Right, that's what you do. Just change the tone.
And we were able to talk for about 45 minutes on a Sunday morning.
And this is why we should support Repeater Book, right, Joe?
That's right.
Absolutely.
One of 1,000 reasons why.
You see what I did there?
Mike, I will tell you from the Connecticut shoreline, I've worked, again, when Tropo is up and running, it's great.
Yeah.
That's why. And this was the days of before cable TV was really coming in. A lot of us were still using regular TVs with rabbit ears or tin foil, whatever. And you knew when the band was open, when your various TV channels, to me, it was always the New York, New Jersey stuff. When those channels were coming in, man, I would run to the radio, and it was fun to go to work into like Atlantic City. I've only done Maryland, but I would assume like a guy like Steve right on the coast could probably have better luck, or more frequency of a successful contact like that.
That's the other thing. And I'm actually trying to measure it. 264, call it 260 miles.
Mm-hmm.
From
That's good.
my place to Atlanta direct.
That's huge.
Now, I know a lot of the guys in the area used to talk about they knew when the Tropo was going on, when they could pick up WAPE out of Jacksonville, Florida, here in Charleston.
A TV station?
Actually, radio station.
Radio station. Okay,
They
same
used to
thing.
be an AM. Now it, well, when I was growing up, it was 95.1. But here the guys talk about, Wolfman Jack out of WAPE. I was like, oh, I know exactly who you're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
But, Mike, to give you an idea.
Yeah.
Here's Charleston right here. I'm just a little bit above it, right center of your map. And that's the Atlantic Ocean right there. So we're, if I zoom in.
Can you do something to like make your pointer more visible?
Right there.
For us visually impaired old guys.
I won't dox myself, but I'll get about that close. And
Yeah.
you can figure out where my house is from there. So.
Okay.
Hey, where relationship is Tupi Island to you?
Tupi Island?
Unless that's in Georgia. I wonder if that's in Georgia.
Are you talking Tybee Island?
I think it was pronounced Tupi. Maybe it was Taipei. Tupee. Tango Uniform Papa Echo Echo. Maybe that's in Georgia.
So,
yeah, it is Georgia. Okay, there you go.
That's
where I want to go. That's where I want Tybee Island. That's where I want to go. I saw a documentary on it. My buddy Peter Santinello was down there, and I want to go hang out.
That's just south of the South Carolina border.
Okay.
Right outside Savannah.
Yep.
So about 2.5 hours from me.
Oh, that's there. Okay.
That's where I want to go. I want to go put on a pair of board shorts and bring a radio and just a lot of cigars.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
Well, I'm 6 hours away from the ocean, but and some enhancements that my memorable for 2 meter was I got my beam up and I had it pointed south because Mississippi, everything south just goes down toward the ocean, right? So, and it was morning time, and I heard these two guys talking I was just scanning the frequencies and stopped on. I could tell it was a repeater. It was a split and had a squelch tail, but they got my attention when they was talking about being mobile on I-10, and I'm like, damn, that's on the coast. So I was excited hearing that, right?
Yeah.
That's an attention getter, isn't it?
So then I start doing the tone scan so I can figure out what tone the repeater does. I got it locked in, and then in between them talking, I could chunk it. And I was like, oh, I think I can hit that.
There you go.
So when I could, I keyed up contact and go ahead contact and gave them a call and this and that. And they said, you're where? And I said, I'm in North Mississippi, 75 miles southeast of Memphis, Tennessee. They said, we're in Houston, Texas. Oh my gosh. So my beam wasn't even pointed toward Houston. So I had to go a little bit and then I got it full scale and we sit there and talked and I think they were about as shocked as I was. So that was, my Logan's repeater contact, I guess, on 2 meters. But then my simplex, my most memorable simplex contacts was this was a time the band opened up so much where our little group of 5 or 6 folks that regularly talked on 5.2 at night, all of a sudden we're talking with surrounding states and there's just people everywhere on 5.2. And it was kind of like running a pile up on POTA. You had to pick out part of a call sign, call them back and say, meet me on 5.5, 5.8, whatever.
Yep.
Okay. And sometimes those frequencies would be used. Yeah. I mean, it was just FM deviation all over the place. But there was so many people. It was wild. I wish I could experience that again. But I heard this one guy, and I told all the locals, I said, hey, I'm turning the amp on. Y'all can keep talking if you want to, but I really need you to shut up so I can hear this guy in case I get him. So I got everybody to shut up, and I called out to him 2 or 3 times, and he finally came back, and he was in Coffeyville, Kansas, which was 409 miles away. Radio to radio, 5.2 simplex.
Oh, that's huge.
Wow.
I like hearing stuff like that.
Yes.
There you go.
I get so excited on FM contacts like that.
Okay, Mike,
That's
tell me,
cool.
does this help? Nope.
Mm.
I made my mouse big as shit on my screen. It doesn't show up.
I
Son
see
of
it.
a
You
bitch.
made it chartreuse.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I don't have any long distance ones like that, but it's funny, Izzo and Steve, you talk about the TV connection, and that's how I first discovered Tropo, because my in-laws got this cottage up on the Thousand Islands. So, kind of almost, it's right on Lake Ontario up north, but we're basically, across the river from Molson. Right. And,
Mhm.
I'm up there and we're heading up for the weekend for a family vacation. And my in-laws were like, hey, when you're up there, something's wrong with the TV. Can you reprogram it? So go, do a channel scan. And I noticed like the Rochester channels are coming in, which we're hours away, right?
Unheard
I'm
of,
like-
right?
And
Yeah.
I'm like, huh, okay. And then it kind of dawned. Wait, I think that station's on, UHF or whatever. Like, I grabbed my HT and walked out, keyed up a repeater, 80 to 90 miles back home. No problem. 5-watt HT with a signal stick right on the beach on the
Nice.
lake. And then, another one, which was about 90 to 100 miles away, keyed that one up. And I'm like, holy, this is crazy. And, and I checked into a net that night because the Tropo there, and it's going to be different for everybody. I know the Great Lakes and it's better in the summer, especially June and September when it's a lot stable. But in the morning and then in the evening, it tends to work really well. And one of the VHF guys was like, yeah, let's QS, let's try sideband. I have my 705 with the elk and, turn that mofo, horizontal. And, we had a 1-watt QSO about 80 to 90 miles on 432.
That's crazy.
So on 70
Wow.
centimeters,
Mhm.
and I just think of like to have like armchair copy and that like that audio is and that's in a YouTube short from a couple of years ago. But like I was just like, this is awesome. Like it's so cool that you can do this. And part of it was just this is the stuff that we studied for, that we learned. And then when you experience it, because so much of the stuff that we learn, especially for the amateur extra, we don't use that knowledge in our everyday operations. But when you experience some of this stuff, whether it's sporadic E on 6 meters or tropo on 2 meters or whatever, it's like, hey, I remember somebody telling me about that or teaching me about that, and and it's real. It happens. And if you're fortunate to be by large bodies of water, like it can be pretty amazing and lead to some memorable QSOs.
I'll give this. If 2 meters is open, don't say I'm going to sit only on 2. Go down to 6 meters.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yep.
Try something.
Try
Try
match
something.
band.
Try something up on UHF if you got the equipment.
Totally.
See, that was one of the things. So again, I get the FCC made all stations change. Was it in 2005 or 2007? But prior to, I had, like I said, I had an old TV I picked up. We had I'll tell you a story. So when I was a kid, we had a garbage man who had 2 tag sales a year. And I didn't know I had picked up a gem because it was $5, but to me it was worth $5,000. It was a Motorola black and white TV. And that sat in my bedroom for the longest time with just some twin lead. I played the game, like I said, I played the game with the tin foil, threw some more wire out, and then when I got my ham license, went downstairs to the basement, pulled that TV back up again, and just kept it in my shack or wherever I was living. And anytime I was, just put it on. Like I said, I used to put on channel 13 out of New Jersey. So that was excuse me. I don't know how guys are doing it now, except for, again, when you listen on the repeater, if you hear another repeater coming in or slightly underneath your repeater, but it's really a hard thing. I'm not aware of any websites that We'll give you an alert unless someone knows. Tell us here. Maybe put something in the chat. But it's a little bit more challenging today, I think, unless you are an enthusiast of this, always chasing it. For the casual guy like me, so. But the old Motorola TV.
Joe, what do you got pulled up there?
So, just to finish up about your 5.2, and I don't have the oceans and stuff around me. So the main reason I run an APRS digipeater here at the house is for 2-meter propagation monitoring here at my house. I found out early on when I was messing around with just seeing if I could put a software digipeater up, and I got to paying attention when the band opens that this program goes nuts and it starts, digipeating the packets and everything. So at any given time, like you see, and I see what you're talking about, Steve, because I've got the huge black pointer on my screen, but you can't see that. So I've got the DTOS pointer.
I was just going to say the DTOS. Oh, you stole it from me. That's what I was thinking of.
Erecting that long black DTOS pointer.
Once again, he whipped it out. See, he whipped it out again.
You see that erect line going up here to the northeast part of the state. I normally connect with this. He's got good coverage at that digipeater, but when it starts bouncing off of him and then going up in Tennessee, over in Alabama, or way down south, and I used to have this list over here to where it was only digipeated packets, but evidently I've messed that setting up. Or maybe it was just throughout the day. But anyway, when I see this program light up, I don't have to look at the VHF map online. I've got it right here. I know at my house that it's hot.
Joe, have you noticed storms? Have you noticed when any storms were coming in or leaving?
Yes. I used to, especially if it was a cold front, the temperature inversion. Oh, yeah. Try to ride that wave.
Yep.
As long as the lightning wasn't too crazy.
I was going to say, as soon as you start hearing packets from KM4ACK, you know.
That was funny. I got a text message from ACK one day, and he showed me, he took a screenshot with his phone. He's like, I just received your packet. and
that's a haul.
My digipeater is, the antenna for the digipeater is the base of it's at 20 feet. It's a GP9. So 18-foot antenna. But it's just on a 20-foot fence, top rail, fence, whatever you call it. The top rail.
Top rail?
Yeah. That's right above the shack. Nothing fancy. So
20 feet up.
I found it works better than the little 5-foot vertical I got on at 45 feet. So
you got a lot more gain. You got a lot more gain on it.
Yeah, it's a lot more gain, and I think the other one's busted anyway. But
with those antennas, if you don't replace them every 10 years, especially me, I have, because we get these, you can't see them. There are these hairline cracks. Anything that starts whipping around, and then it gets salt water in, and for me, that's a problem. So,
fella, I can't believe that GP9 is working after the ice storm. When the tree limbs started coming down with the ice, it grabbed the tip of the GP9 and just the tip. Just started putting that curve onto that vertical, and it was literally 90 degrees, and I was just freaking. I'm like, that thing's gonna snap. Like, it's already got to be busted. And I sit there and try to shake it out. And I had to just take the mount off. It's just mounted to the back side of the shack here. So I knew this was going to be risky, but it's going to break if I didn't try it anyway.
Well, the inside is nothing more than probably a piece of copper.
Yeah. Copper and capacitors.
Right. So if the copper,
but it's the fiberglass. Fiberglass, I didn't want it to
get all right, because even if the fiberglass cracks, you're not going to allow water in there. So time will tell. You could tell us in 6 months to a year now if all of a sudden you're starting to notice some problems with that antenna. You can go back to the storm and say,
because it's just hooked directly to the radio that I don't look at. So I mean, I don't hear it. It's just digipeating packets. So
yeah.
But if I stop getting any packets, I guess I'll be like, But yeah, so I had to unmount it, and of course I knew when I took that last screw out, it was under load. So
You know what a good test is?
and I'm standing on top of ice trying to hold it. It was fun times, but I saved it.
Joe, you know what a good
Man.
test is?
What's that?
Put it on one of your weather channels. And as long as that transmitter is working, hasn't been moved, etc., that's a good. The weather channels, those 7 weather channels, are a good test to see if your antenna is broken or not. Because if
Yeah.
all of a sudden, if you were hearing that on a regular basis, let's say an S9, now all of a sudden you're hearing an S5, S3, you know potentially the problem is on your end, anywhere from the feed line to the antenna. There is a problem. So, or a connector, including the connector, but
Yeah.
a little tidbit from Izzo for you tonight.
Nice.
There you go. Always learn something with Izzo.
Only took us 2 hours in, but hey.
What kind of sip was that, Mike?
This is it. I am done with the bottle. This is a Bushmills 12-year-old
Okay.
single malt Irish whiskey. Is good, and it's
Nice.
done.
There you go.
There you go. Finish it
There you
off.
go.
Jealous. All I got is my sweet tea.
Yep.
That's it.
Yeah, some lemonade. That's all I got. That's all
Yep.
right.
So,
On to water now.
Yeah, stay hydrated.
Yeah.
Hey, have you
Alright.
guys heard of price real quickly? I was whispered the other day.
Oh.
Buffalo Trace,
mhm.
$30. Now you know me, I don't drink this stuff. Is that a good price?
Depend. I mean, what size bottle is
The 750?
750.
it? Yeah. Yeah.
I didn't know if
that's
that
a-
was like half price or $20
Yes.
off the.
It's a normal price.
That is
Here.
normal. Okay.
Yeah, that sounds normal.
No, because
right?
one of the guys at work said if I wanted a bottle, I'm like, what am I going to do with the bottle? Drink it. Somebody just said drink it.
Well, you said
Yeah.
you don't really drink, so sip it. Bourbon's a sipping.
I
thing.
know.
There you go. Yeah, so is 10 Cup.
No, it's not.
Why?
They
What-
lie.
ACK will tell
They
you
lie.
otherwise.
Why? What's the difference? What's okay? Something just went over my head. Tin cup, you also sip it too, right? Or is it the amount of sips you take?
Unless you're using the shot glass that comes with it.
Yeah.
It comes with a tin shot glass. Episode 32 is all. That's, never let him live that one down.
But now that I finish this bottle, I can go get another something.
There you go.
Another something.
Mike, is that a green screen in the back of you?
Yeah, it is.
Oh,
I,
Dude,
wi-
that-
I wish it wasn't, man. I wish I could just like reach over and grab
I
some of
was
like the
gonna tell
Harris
you-
radios and some of like the old
Well,
school stuff from Rochester, But this is
there-
at the Antique Wireless Museum, which is out here, and this is part from the Rochester exhibit where there's Harris and all the manufacturers that started in Rochester a long time ago.
because there's a
Okay.
portable that has a bent antenna, and that just bothers me.
Oh.
It bothers me. It bothers me. So.
That one,
Yeah, it bothers me. It was sitting in someone's back pocket for too long.
yeah.
Yep.
It's probably like 50 years old too.
It doesn't make a
It's on
difference.
the
It
shelf,
doesn't.
yeah.
It still bothers me.
Yeah.
That muffin top bend to it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. Well, boys, do we want to put a bow on this thing?
Yep.
Sure.
All right.
It was
Izzo?
good talks, man.
Yeah. Well, good
A lot
time.
of
2 hours
food
went by quick.
and radios.
I might be in a park tomorrow, so we'll see.
Okay.
You guys can work me. You work me. If not, it is what it is. So.
Leave the
Oh.
radio on remote.
What bands would you be on if you go out tomorrow?
I always do. 99% of the time, I always, even if it's 1:00 in the afternoon, 2:00 in the afternoon, I will still hit 40 meters.
Mm-hmm.
And I still like working everybody from Connecticut, parts of Mass, New York, a little bit of Pennsylvania, Maryland, Virginia. Then obviously I'll probably hit 20. But then I'll always see what 10's doing. I'll go up to 10 and then start working my way down again based
There you
upon,
go.
the POTA spotting
Oh,
page
yeah.
or whatever. Or maybe if I don't see anybody a few times, I'll see if I can start something. So,
There you go.
I don't think I'm going to use the A test this time. I think I want to put the wire up. So
Okay.
There
Okay.
you go.
we'll see.
Well, and Izzo, if you're available, Friday, Saturday, Hartsford Public School at the high school, they're doing a robot competition.
Saturday, where am I? Saturday, no. I may try to do something in the morning. I'm off Saturday.
Yep.
But I got stuff during the
Oh,
day and night. But
Sorry, no, they're doing Saturday, Sunday,
uh,
27th through the 29th. Is there?
I got a security detail I got to take care of on Saturday.
Yep.
I got to play security. So
But I know Hartford's not too far from you, so.
no, it's not.
What about you, Joe?
No, man, I'm just sitting here like this. Be back
Tuesday
next
night?
Tuesday, probably.
That's it.
Yep.
Okay.
I've maybe randomly going to throw up that icon video I keep talking about. That since I looked at my content today, and it's coming up on 60 days since I've published a video. So
I don't want to look at mine. I'm sure it's been a hot minute. But. All right.
Mike, what about besides anything anything else going on?
Well, I try to do work band Wednesdays is something I've been doing for over a year. Trying to get, I don't do it every Wednesday, but more often than not, I do make myself use the work bands, whether it's for WinLink on 30 meters or, doing POTA on 17 or 12. So I'll be out at some point, and normally I've been doing WinLink or not WinLink, FT8 on 30 meters early mornings on Wednesday because my son has driver's ed at 6 a.m. So I'm usually out like for POTA at 6:30, 7:30 a.m. Eastern time. And
AM.
yeah, in the morning. And so if you look at, if you think about the band conditions, and it's been a good learning process doing this as much as I have. 30 meters is great. I've worked Japan multiple times and got really good DX. But a month or so ago, it was dark as hell at 6:30, 7 in the morning. Right. So, but he's not feeling well. So I don't think he's going to be at driver's ed early. So I might be out later in the day on 12 or something. But at the end of the day, like even if I just do WinLink on 30 or something, I'm going to force myself to be on a work band tomorrow just to try something different and something new. But speaking of POTA, so if I don't make it out for POTA tomorrow, I definitely plan on being out for one this weekend. I'm hoping to be out late Friday night for a late shift because Friday is my 5-year anniversary from my first POTA.
Oh, wow.
Excellent. Excellent. Congratulations.
And I would be out before, if I could, I would have gone out before the UTC day, but my son has an after school thing. So it's going to probably be a late shift, after 8 o'clock Eastern time or 00 UTC. But you might catch me on 80 meters because I got the new radiodity antenna, and I know Jeem and some others have had issues with the coil heating up on 80 meters. So I'm going to bring that thing out to the state forest for a late shift on Friday and try not to start a forest fire. We'll see, but
put some heat in it.
Yeah.
I don't have good luck
We'll
with
see,
verticals, but I really liked Jim's video on that. I really liked it because I thought it's not the antenna for me, but I liked how he presented it to us.
Yep.
And he took the time and Jim, if you're listening or whatever, congratulations. I thought it was an excellent video.
Yeah, no, there's been, I've watched all the videos that people have done on it because I knew like I'd have one. I'm in like the second tier. They sold out and then like, we'll get you one, but you'll be in like the second batch. Right. And, but no, there's a lot of nice things about it having not, other than the, toying with it today. I haven't used it much, but for the new, and I think back because 5 years ago I got started in POTA. And when I put together my first station, I got a Wolf River coils and a G90, and that's what I went out into the woods with. It's very comparable price wise what I paid for my first station versus if I just bought the G90 in this.
Grab it and you go in the woods.
And everything. So there's something to be said, and there's a lot of versatility, which is nice because I can't put a stake in the ground at all the parks I go to. And sometimes a tripod isn't enough to hold something stable, or sometimes I need to be a ability to put something on a mag mount and just do it from a parking lot. And so those are all important considerations and stuff. There's no perfect antenna. There never will be. That's why I keep buying them. That's why I keep testing them and stuff and messing around. But yeah, so 80 meter FT8 Friday night. Look for me. I'd love to get you on the log and kind of see what this thing can do.
All right, guys, you hear them. Put N2 MAK in your ham alert. Put W1FYG in your ham alert.
And if you don't see me, that means there's probably a forest fire and someone's got the extinguisher and hopefully they're pushing that button. Yeah.
The stop.
Yep.
So,
absolutely.
All right, before we leave, we haven't done a giveaway in a couple of weeks, and we're not going to do one tonight, but I'm going to let y'all in on one that I seen the other day. And everybody on screen here anyway is going to get to participate. So you'll go over to Quicksilver's Facebook page. They posted a couple of days ago.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
If you got you a sticker, a 73 sticker from Quicksilver Radio, they want you to take a picture and post it, tag them on the Facebook. So make this easier. You three guys point at the sticker and we'll smile for a pretty Facebook picture.
Here you go.
Mike. God dang it, you're participating too. Point at the sticker.
Other way.
Oh, he's had too much Irish whiskey.
Can I not?
Quick, you ain't changed directions yet. There you go.
Good thing he's not at a DWI stop right now.
And I forget what they're giving away, but like $100 gift certificate or something. Anyway, hit that button. Bye, y'all.
See ya. Where's the outro?
I'm sorry, Steve. Did you have anything you wanted to say?
Nope, all good. I'm going to be busy this weekend.
I only had one drink.
In the same direction.